Tomorrow, the biggest story is going to be whether the RBA cuts rates. And the market consensus is that the Reserve Bank will cut the interest rate by 25 basis points. That'd bring it down to 4.1%. It would be, if they cut, it'd be the first time they've slashed the cash rate in 5 years. All right, let's bring in now the Australian's contributing economics editor, Judith Sloan. Judith, thank you very much for your time. Now, do you think there is a strong case for the RBA to cut rates tomorrow?
Well, Shari, it's a case of will they or should they? If I'm going to answer that, should they, I think the answer is no. I think there is a case, but there's not a strong case. And after all, it's only 5-6 more weeks before they meet again. And I think the cautious approach would be to watch. For example, on their criteria, which is about the trimmed mean of the CPI, it is not currently within their target band. So the target band is 2 to 3%. It is only slightly above that target band, and it is probably heading into that target band. But it seems to me that there is so much political pressure on them, and indeed also the market, i.e. the young bond traders, have decided to will it, that I think they probably will cut tomorrow. But as you said, Shari, by 25 basis points.
It was an interesting story in the Fin Review that one of the friends of one of the RBA board members, or of Stephen Kennedy, I should say, is the Treasury Secretary, that one of his friends at the last rates meeting, or ahead of the last rates meeting, asked the Fin Review to publish his opinion piece arguing for a rate cut on the day of the rates decision. The Fin refused to do that. They published it the next day. But does this show you the sort of games and political meddling that's going on?
Yes, it was a very interesting article by Michael Reid, and he had some good sources there, I thought. So I think you'll hear the Prime Minister and the Treasurer say, you know, with respect, you know, we understand that the Reserve Bank is independent, blah, 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 right? Which of course is a form of jawboning. But another way to get the message out is to get your sort of emissaries, your friendly emissaries, to also put the message out. So, you know, there are a number of economists. For example, last year we had Wayne Swan breaking into the press and telling us what we should do. So I think it's a rather unfortunate arrangement, to tell you the truth, Shari. You either have an independent Reserve Bank that's allowed to get on with the job and be seen to allowed to get onto the job, or, you know, you have this sort of meddling, what I'd call meddling.
Yeah, it does seem like it could be meddling. How do you think Michelle Bullock would withstand this pressure? I mean, she's been quite impressive so far.
She's been absolutely great. I think she is perhaps less malleable than they thought when she was appointed. And I absolutely love the fact that an hour after the decision is made public, she very openly conducts a press conference and takes a large number of questions. And unlike most politicians, she doesn't actually not answer the questions. She does try to answer the questions. So I think she's been great. But bear in mind, it's not just the governor who makes this decision. It is the board. This is actually the old board, and that does include the Treasury Secretary. So she has a vote. There are other Reserve Bank people on the board, but I think she's been great. And I think to watch Shari tomorrow is not just the decision, but also the narrative around it. Because normally when a central bank starts to cut interest rates, it's the start of a cutting season, so to speak. Whereas I think there is a bet where they'll say, look, we've been prepared to cut this time, but we're not making any promises about a series of cuts through the year. That's a very different scenario to the normal process whereby, yes, we think we've got inflation licked and we'll have a series of cuts through the year.
It'll be interesting to see, or if we'll even find out, whether the board decision is unanimous tomorrow or whether there is a split in a difference of opinion. Judith, just before you go quickly, I just want to ask,
on that, Shari, we won't know that because that will be the process under the new board. I think we will have some transparency about the voting, but tomorrow is the last meeting of the old constituted board, so it's the sort of normal confidentiality of the voting.
Just very quickly, because we've got to go, would you say the political meddling by the Albanese government at this point is interference? Is it interfering with the independence?
I think it's been very unfortunate, and I think that, you know, they have a legislation under which they act. They should be allowed to get on with their fulfilling the tasks that are given to them. So I think it is unfortunate, but you know, bear in mind, it's not the first government to have done this, and sadly will not be the last.
Indeed. All right, Judith, Sloan, really appreciate your analysis as always.